our podcast, Seesaw scenario for 2025, which was the year to thrive. How can we make 2026 the year that our good and prosperous intentions stick? Yes, if you're not the cool kid on the playground, you can try different strategies, including and up to looking to move to another playground in which you are better fit. And yes, if you are constantly overlooked for your promotion, at work you can take classes and attend training to try to gain the appeal of the hiring promoting manager. And among other things, if you're not getting the respect or recognition your performance deserves at your recreational sports club, you can look for ways to up your game, a different club, or ways to build a fraternal spirit amongst your teammates. But at the end of the day, when you've done all that you can think of and your situation hasn't improved, at least not proportional to your exerted effort, it's time to add faith to the formula, but not the direct approach that most do. I include myself in that last statement, and it will take intentional effort to break that habit. This Seesaw scenario is as follows. The writer writes, I have tried everything to be acknowledged on the home front, work front, and recreational front by those I care about, and despite what to me seems like incredible forward momentum, all my efforts and pivotal accomplishments fall unperceived and as a result are null and void. Family and some so-called friends, mostly family though, sometimes tell me you must not be as good as you say you are. I was raised to believe that if I have a good education, solid work ethic, and stay humble, that was all it would take to make what I seek and work towards attainable. I've been in the workforce 20 plus years, and although I am grateful for the blessings I have, really I am, the areas of personal, professional, and financial growth are far behind what they should be for somebody as blessed and humble as me. I know that last part doesn't sound humble, but hopefully you get what I meant. What am I missing? Dear writer, great question. We want to take a stab at that question as it resonates and fits perfectly with the core of our theme for 2026, that is our hope for all of our listeners. 2026, the year our good and prosperous intentions stick. Something I've been focusing on a lot lately, and that I'd like to share with you because I believe I am seeing light breaking through the seemingly insurmountable cliffs ahead, is the often overlooked power of combining indirect and impactful emotion to our effort and faith. Many motivational speakers, for example, Steve Harvey and Tony Robbins, revolve their speaking points on the power of prayer and the power of state of mind and body. That is undisputed, but as food for thought, I would like to offer the notion that is incomplete if we stop there. That would be all that is needed if we were in a bubble being supervised by a person with the influence to help us that would advocate for our advancement at every turn. However, on the playground, as you have experienced, there is no such person or success agent assigned to us. In fact, many times the opposite seems true. There seems to be playground executives everywhere rooting for our failure, sometimes even instigating the cause of it. As I read Isaiah 58, I had the thought I am describing. Our success is not just acquired through deciding what we want, believing for it, and going and grabbing it. At least not most times in the social realm where others want exactly what you want and at the same time. Maybe for different reasons, but at the same time. Here's the part of the chapter I want us to consider that substantiates my notion. That is, in essence, as we seek help from others, we are the help others seek. It is from this vantage point that we begin our reference to Isaiah 58, 7 through 11. Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house, when thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh? Then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thine health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee. The glory of the Lord shall be thy reward. Then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, Here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity, and if thou draw out the soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. And the Lord shall guide thee continually, and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make fat thy bones, and thou shalt be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. What this alludes to is the parallel mindset and action that are required for the breakthrough we seek to present itself to us. In sum, my take on it and my contribution to the Seesaw scenario is, while it's crucial to have a clear vision on what we want and to work towards it in faith, it is equally transcendental to help all those we have the power to help. Not only do you not know who you may be helping, and it is how God expects us to treat everybody on the playground, but through others is also how God will help us. So the wish is may 2026 be the year your good and prosperous intentions stick. And the challenge is that we make it a daily point to see who we can help with the gifts God has given us. How say you, Mark?
So Eric, there's a lot to unpack there, and it's great because it's a big end of the year kind of message that we have, or set of messages, and a lot of important considerations. So in response, I would say, let's leverage all three of those, or let's leverage three factors. Three factors I would say that we leverage is what is therapeutic to us. Then we leverage the practical changes that we're going to make in our lives. And then the third thing, to your point, is how we can go ahead and help others. Now, I think that all three of those things are going to make us feel better, which is the starting point of everything. Because again, how does the playground make us feel? The playground serves to disempower us. The playground is this incredibly powerful gravity working against us. The playground is this black cloud that keeps on pouring down on us, making us feel like what we do doesn't make a difference, or questioning ourselves. So this is where we leverage those three things. Let's start out with the therapeutic part, okay? The therapeutic part is before you can start making real practical changes, it's probably a good idea to get yourself to the point like, hey, maybe we're on edge, we're frustrated, we're upset, maybe we got the blues around the holidays, whatever it is, around the new year. Let's go ahead and get to a place where we first feel better, okay? Whatever that is. Maybe it's an old TV show, a music album that you're listening to. Maybe you're doing a game of some kind on your tablet or a puzzle or whatever makes you feel therapeutic in that calmer place. Once we have that we feel better on a therapeutic level, now we can go ahead and say, okay, let's actually make some practical changes. Now, if we're losing weight, okay, for example, start out small. We don't want to feel like we failed by setting a goal of like, I have to work out every day this week and lose 7 pounds. What if we just knock off 1 or 2 pounds per week? 1 or 2 pounds per week could be like 8 to 10 pounds a month, which could be within 3 months, 25 to 30 pounds, which again, that's a pretty realizable goal. It will make somebody feel a heck of a lot better. Or like what I had a few years ago with, or it wasn't a few years ago, probably about 10 years ago or so, where I wasn't really quite happy where I was with my career. And I just spent a little bit of time studying every night, and eventually I got a certification and a new job, and I just got to a better place, and my career improved, started making more money, was treated better too. So those were some of the practical changes that I made because I felt, again, empowered in a place to do so after settling down my senses with all the frustration I had been experiencing. Then we talk about after we have made some significant changes, now we talk about the helping of people. Now I'll tell you this, when we help people, it's for the sake of others, but it does something for ourselves too. I'll tell you this, a few years ago, I was doing some volunteer work, and now I talk about it, I think about going back, where for at least once a month, I was going and packing food and having that food sent to countries, to people in need, okay? And I'll tell you, there's a special kind of feeling that I had of doing that I don't feel when that I'm doing any job or whatever. I was just there. I was doing it. I was in a group. We were together. There was a certain energy about it. No, we didn't know each other, but just packing that food and moving a certain number of packages out the door, there's something about it that just felt like an otherworldly kind of energy, okay? So I think that if this year we leverage those three things, we leverage the therapeutic value of our lives. We leverage the practical changes. We leverage helping others and bundle that all into our lessons from faith. I think we'll have a really good year. Happy 2026 to everybody. Happy upcoming new year. 2026 is the year to feel better and to make significant changes. I wish you all the best.